Hello there. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I'm feeling a bit trashy, hence me wearing my dressing gown for this particularly, and my hair's a bit messier than usual. But anyway, this video I'm calling character building because I'm going to take you through building some pretty super characters in various armies. So I've done some for the forces of fantasy. I've got the magic list from the main army book here, and then I'm going to sort of build some pretty cool characters live out of the forces of evil. So what I tend to do, because we haven't really got an effective army builder at the moment, is I'm just using Excel to build my army lists. So like, where's my chaos? So here's my I mean, it's not this now, I've changed it, but that's I'll eventually do that. So then essentially what I can do is I can write down all the special rules here, and then essentially I can print all this off, and then my opponents can see like literally everything, stat lines, you know, the special rules and all the rest. So it just makes it easy for them to understand what's going on, well, if they know what everything means. Anyway, so here's here's my suggestions for we're going for like a balance between killiness and survival. So I always like to build like balanced army lists, and I think if you've got like one mega character that's going to lead your army, it needs to be pretty balanced. Anyway, so I think for the Empire, I'd prefer a Grandmaster on a Demigryph as like a combat character, mainly because you can give it essentially a 2-up save with full plate and shield. The Mace of Hellstorm is 65 points, but it's wicked. Now, if you've got these PDFs, go and click on this little button on the side, which gives you the bookmarks, because it's really helpful, because you can just click on what you want to look at. So that's I quite like that. Anyway, here's the Mace of Hellstorm. It's 65 points, which is quite expensive, but you can either just make single-handed normal magical attacks, which, you know, he's got 4 attacks, strength 4, weapon skill 6. Not great. However, he does have this double-handed ability where he can only make 1 attack, but it is strength 10 and it is AP 5, which is, I think, pretty fantastic. The other thing, I'm watching some Total War. The other thing about this is I've also given him the White Cloak, which gives him a 5-up ward, but also gives him a 3-up ward against flaming attacks, which I think makes him really survivable. The other thing is he's like 300 points, so you probably can fit in, you know, the other mega characters tend to be about 500 points, so you can probably fit him in a unit of Demigryph riders as well, which arguably is better than an Empire like Elector. They're not Elector counts yet, are they? But like an Empire general on a, but you don't get terror and all the rest. So I think the Empire kind of struggled to build like a mega character type model. Britonia, on the other hand, interestingly, I had a quick look through Britonia, and there's no way of getting like a 2-up save. Even Grail Knights have only got a 3-up save because they've only got heavy armor. Britonia don't do full plate, it seems, which is interesting. Anyway, so you got a Duke, you put him on a Hippogriff. I went for the Questing Vow because essentially if you get the Grail Vow, that makes him immune to psychology. Questing Vow means you can re-roll leadership tests for panic, fear and terror. Because he's on a Hippogriff, he causes fear and terror, so spending the extra 20 odd points to be immune to fear and terror as well, you know, he's re-rolling panic tests and he's got leadership 9, so you're a really unlucky boy or girl or other if you decide to, you know, fail leadership 9 with a re-roll. I've made him like a challenge, you know, nutter. So I've given him Virtue of Confidence, which means he always issues challenges and must accept. However, you re-roll hit rolls in a challenge, which is great. Giving him the Gromrul Great Helm means that you can re-roll armor saves of 1. Doesn't that add 1? Yeah, that adds 1 to his save as well. So he's got heavy armor, 5-up, shield, 4-up, Gromrul Great Helm, 3-up. That's about as good as you can get, I think. So it gives him +1 to his save, and he can re-roll armor saves of 1, which will make him pretty good. Challenges can't be refused, so this character is going to be really good for, like, because of the fly and swift stride and swift strike and all the rest. He's going to be really good at like charging into those units with characters, doing an absolute bucket load of damage because he's got 5 attacks. Giving him the Heartwood Lance gives him a +3 strength AP3 lance, so he can charge into big blocks of infantry, challenge the champion who can't refuse, so the rest of the unit then can't attack him. He's almost certainly going to go first because with +3 to that, initiative 8, there's not a lot of foot characters that are initiative 8, even elves. So he's going to be going first with 5 attacks, weapon skill 7, hitting on probably 4s or 3s, re-rolling hits, so the vast majority are going to hit. He's going to be strength 8 with AP3, so he's, him and the Hippogriff attacking, they're likely to get at least kill the champion and probably get the +5 for overkill as well. So you charge into a unit, even if it's got, let's say 3 ranks, because it's got a Horde and a banner, your closed order, so those 2 cancel out. So you're going to get the character champion +5 wounds. So you're going to get at least, you can bank on 5, if not 6 for your combat res. They're going to get a max, so they're going to lose by 1. So you can charge into a massive block of infantry with this, challenge the champion. You're not going to get hurt. You're going to kill the champion, and then you're going to win the combat. And then they're taking break tests at -1 leadership because you cause terror. So that's a pretty good character. I mean, less effective against the undead, let's be honest, but that's still pretty good. So I quite like him. He's an interesting pick. He's still only 425 points. There are other things you could do. There are virtues that can make him slightly better, but I think actually overall that's a pretty good balance, and it's still, just over a fifth of your army, so it's not eating too much into your points for other things. Wood Elves, and I'll do a dragon off at some point to look at who's got the best dragon. I think that's another video I'm going to do, because it's just interesting to compare the dragons. I think the black dragon's probably the best because of its breath weapon. It's just amazing. But yeah, the Glade Lord. The Glade Lord, you can't give enough armor to make his armor better than a 4. Essentially, if you're on a dragon, the dragon counts as full plate armor. So if you got a rider and a mount, you take the best armor save across the whole model. So if the mount has a full plate armor like dragons do, then you get a 4-up save, because of the dragon. So I don't think with Wood Elves you're going to get better than that. Wood Elves have other janky stuff though that makes them really survivable. So if you take an Annoyance of Netlings, you're +1 to hit in a challenge. So you, like I've said in previous videos, you're probably going to want to challenge because you killed the champion, you get overkill like the Duke. You then can't be hit by the rest of the unit, so you're probably going to win the combat. The Glade Lord has always strikes first anyway, so he's going to be going first with a charge. Forest Dragon's probably also going first, so you're quite likely to kill the champion of the unit. Even if they are going first, they're -1 to hit you at weapon skill 7, so most unit champions or wizards or other sort of minor characters you might find in units are probably going to be hitting you on 5s. Even Dwarf Lords are going to be struggling. And then no strength modifiers for weapons is Mercure's Locus, which I think is amazing on a dragon, because, so for instance, you charge into that unit of hammerers, right? You challenge the champion who's going to be, or even a character who's going to be hitting you on 4s or 5s, if they've got like a Dwarf Lord in there. In fact, I can't remember what profile a Dwarf Lord has. It's that one, isn't it? Dwarven Mountain character. Dwarf Lord is weapon skill 7, so a Dwarf Lord still is going to be hitting you on 5s, and then their strength 4, and their weapon doesn't get any strength modifier, even if it's magical, so they're going to be wounding you on 6s, so even with like 5 or 6 attacks, they're hit twice, and they're going to be lucky to wound. So, the 4-up save, it doesn't really matter how good a defense you've got, because the defense is from debuffing your opponent. And then you win the combat, ideally, and they have to take a leadership test at -2 leadership because you've taken this Wood Elf artifact called the Wraith Stone. So you cause terror, so the -1 leadership because of that, and then another -1 because of the Wraith Stone. So that's a pretty effective like combat dragon, again for charging into and breaking big chunks of infantry, which characters are notoriously supposed to be bad against. This is again, it just gives you a tool, especially in a wood elf list, to get into combat and do some proper damage. I mean, the thing that Bretonians lack in general, and I suppose this is how I'm building out these characters, but the thing that Bretonians lack in general is like the ability to snipe out characters. This is a very expensive sniper, but every time you charge into a combat, you can just get rid of the champion, break a unit, whatever. And even if they charge you, you're in a challenge and you're reasonably survivable. You haven't got a ward because you've got like the lady save, but that interacts with your high toughness in the fact that if somebody is strength 4 or lower, they're going to be wounding you on 5s or 6s, and then you get a 6-up ward. If they're wounding you on 4 or better, you're going to get a 5-up ward. So you get kind of all of that kind of averages out because of the extra toughness that Hippogriff gives you. That's if you pray at the start of the game. That's a reason why you might want to take the Grail Vow, because you never lose the blessing. But hey ho. High Elf Prince is actually quite cheap, but again, that's because he's toughness 3 and his bow is slightly worse than the Glade Lord. They're sort of their basic profile in terms of like always strike first, elven reflexes, blah blah blah. All of that's the same. So we're going to put him on a Star Dragon. You give him the Blood of Calador. That allows you to be mounted on a dragon. Well, that's the only virtue, vow, whatever that High Elves have. That you can take and also be on a dragon still. So you got High Elf Prince, you give him Blood of Calador, that gives him +1 weapon skill, so he goes up to 8, which is, I think, apart from a Bloodthirster, possibly the best in the game. It's got the dragon armor for free, and he gets free full plate, so it doesn't actually cost you 15 points, because I think full plate costs you 4 or 6 or something, so it really only costs you about 10. So that gives you a 4-up save. You take a shield, it gives you a 3-up save. Then you take the Dragon Helm, which gives you a 6-up ward against flaming, which you don't really need because you've already got a 6-up ward because of that. However, the Dragon Helm is a 10-point artifact that gives you another +1 to your save. So it's a bit like the old Enchanted Shield. So High Elves effectively still have an Enchanted Shield, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, so he's got a 2-up save and a 6-up ward, which makes him pretty survivable. And then I've gone for the White Sword, which is a High Elf weapon, which is +3 strength, AP2, 2-hand monster slayer. So he's got 4 attacks, almost certainly hitting on 3s, almost certainly wounding on 2s or 3s. With AP2, that's pretty effective. And he's on a Star Dragon, which has a pretty stonking weapon skill. So anyway, let's build out some other cool stuff. I need the PDFs back. So let's start off with not that. Orcs and goblins. So we're going to want a Black Orc boss, which is going to cost. Oh, for God's sakes! I've clicked on the wrong thing. Can I get both of these on the same screen and it not be absolutely stupid? I don't think so. Oh, that looks okay, doesn't it? If we get rid of the bookmarks for now. So we've got a Black Orc boss. BO boss, who's 135. That's just a simple formula of that plus that, so it gives me a running total as I go along, so I don't run out. 7 3 5 5 3 6 4 7 3 5 5. Oh, I forgot his bloody movement. 4 7 3 5 5 3 6 4, and then leaves you 9, and he starts off with a 4-up save. So let's go for a mount, because we're going for like a reasonable monster attack. So we've got a wyvern, which is another 130. That's not a lot really, is it? But they're not very good. What else can he be mounted on? Where's the bloody mount options? It'll be at the end of characters, won't it, I think? What's it say? Maybe mounted, page 19. Yeah, there we go. So we can have a wyvern, a boar chariot, or a war boar. I mean, it's not very exciting, is it? I suppose wyvern's probably the best that you're going to get. Alright. So 35. I mean, all of this will be on Battle Scribe at some point, won't it? So, or an equivalent. So the wyvern has a movement 4. What flies it got? 9. Pretty much the same as all big things. It's got a pretty rubbish weapon skill for a monster. Gives him +1 toughness, which is ace, which puts him on 6. Gives him another 4 wounds, sorry, which puts him on 7. Its initiative is probably rubbish. Oh no, oh no, no, no. That's 6, that's 7. Its initiative is 3, and it has 3 attacks. Does it have anything that improves his armor? No. It's got heavy armor, so it's only got a 5-up save. Warbuster's got a 4-up. So we stick with the 4-up. We can have a shield, so we can probably shield. Oops. Let's just do that for now. So we've got a 3-up save there. Right, what magic items have we got for orcs and goblins? See, I'm instantly attracted to the battle axe of the last big war. It is strike. Oh yeah, sorry. And the other thing about the high elf prince, the white sword is strikes last. However, because the high elf prince is strikes first, those two just cancel out. So you fight at normal initiative. So he gets +1 in the first round of combat. So that's 7. If he's charged, that's 10 anyway. So he's going to be striking first with that sword because he's initiative 10, which is what strikes first give you if he charges, obviously. So the battle axe, the last big war, 75 points. This strikes last. If you roll a 6 for special attacks, you can't roll d6 extra attacks again in the battle. That's a bit rubbish, actually. I don't like that. Because if you roll if you charge into a unit of chaff and then roll 6 extra attacks, you've just lost essentially the main ability of the weapon. You might as well just take a great weapon. I mean, yeah, that gives you magical attacks, but a great weapon with magical attacks is not worth 75 points. I suppose you could just be a bit selective. I quite like the choppiest chopper. That looks quite good because it makes you strength 6 when you're attacking. AP3 is pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll go choppiest chopper for now. So that's 35, and that gives you +1 S AP3 magical. So that's good. Quite like that. I tend to find that the best things tend to be the talismans, which the orcs don't seem to have any of. All right. Because if we look at the... Oh dear, go away you. So if we go and look at the talismans here, you've got stuff like magic resistance, which could be useful. I think I'm going to go talisman of protection for now, because that's 35. So we've only got 30 points of magic artifacts left. What else can we take? That was a talisman, wasn't it? Oh. Now, hold on. That was a talisman, yeah. What haven't they got then? It's not talisman, is it? It's the... enchanted items, isn't it? That's what I was thinking of. I'm tempted to give him Wizarding Hat because then he's basically Azag. If you remember Azag, who had it was a Black Orc boss. Was he a Black Orc boss? Or I think he was an Orc boss, wasn't he? Anyway, he was on top of Wyvern, and he was stupid and had essentially this, which is quite cool. I'm tempted to do that. It's quite expensive though, 45 points. But 45 points, I suppose, for a level 1 wizard with all that guff is pretty good. No, scratch that. Trollhide trousers. That's amazing. That is absolutely fantastic. 40 points for +1 save, so he's 2 up on top of a monster, and then he's got a 4 up regen. So +1 S 4 regen. I always do like 2 pluses for ward and 3 pluses for regen. I don't know whether other people do have a similar convention. Comment down below. I hate saying YouTube things like that, but anyway. So how many points have we got left for magic artifacts? We've really only got 25. So we've used a magic armor. We've used a magic weapon. So what talismans can we take? Now the talismans, they did have a couple here. Collar of Zorgar. Cavalry chariot monster is -1 to hit. That's quite good actually, because monsters aren't really going to be hitting him. Yeah, they're all going to be hitting him on. I think that the Star Dragon's the monster with the best weapon skill, so they're going to be hitting on 5s. I mean, I think that's pretty good. So that makes him pretty good at is fungus one. Yeah, what did I say? We've got 25 points. Paymaster's coin. We've got a magic weapon. We haven't got any magic armor. Is there any magic armor for 25 points? That's pretty good. No, the Trollhide trousers were magic armor, weren't we? So we haven't got a talisman, nor have we got an enchanted item. But again, 25 points doesn't really give you a lot. I mean, Potion of Strength is pretty good, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think actually I'd tend to just to leave it there and save the points for something else in the list, because that's only 340 points. That's even cheaper than the Duke on it. I mean, it's not that much more expensive than a Grandmaster on a Demigryph, is it? So that's, I think that's pretty. I think if I was going to do anything, I'd go Collar of Zorga, just to, in case it got into combat with like a monster. So of Zorga. Is that like attacking me are -1 to hit? And you know what they say, cavalry, it's always the horses that do more damage, so that could be pretty good actually. Yeah, I suppose actually with AP3, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because with AP3 and Strength 6, this is like a cavalry killer, isn't it? Because you charge him into a unit of load of cavalry, or monstrous cavalry even, like monstrous cavalry. Does it say? Yeah, it says any whose troop type is cavalry. Now, what that means is all cavalry, so light, heavy, monstrous. They're all. If the key word in the description is cavalry, it just means all of it. And the beast that draw any model whose troop type is chariot. So like, yeah, so like a thunder tusk. Yeah, like a Skitterstrand. Like a Ragnarok, a massive spider with a tiny goblin on top. Technically, the spider is the mount, because I think it's got the Howder special rule, so it's a chariot effectively. But yeah, I think that's, and it's still 360, which gives you 150 points on these other like potentially more killy characters. So I think that looks quite good. Yeah. So let's oops. Let's have a look at doing a Chaos Lord. So Chaos Lords are already quite expensive because they've already got like lots of you know, they've got 4 at save, 5 at ward, 4, 7, 3, 5, 5, 4, 6, 6, 5, and then leadership 9, and then you're going to 59, so that's in 3 pages time, and then it's going to tell me where. You've seen all this already on like other channels, haven't you? So Chaos Dragon 74. Can I control click? Is that linkable? Oh yeah, right. Small things. Right, so that's another 208. 208. So we're already like just the thing in the mount. Weapon skill 6, strength 7, gives him an extra toughness, so he goes to toughness 6, extra 6 wounds, so he's on 10 wounds, initiative 4, and 6 attacks. Pretty good dragon. I love the fact that you can choose one of the breath weapons, so you've got either strength 2, no armor saves, or strength 4, AP 1 that does flaming, so you can, you know, that's pretty, gives you a lot of flexibility actually. So now there is a really nasty build that you can do with this, which is, where is it? You want, where is it? Crown of Everlasting Conquest, right? Yeah, obviously we want a shield, which I think costs more than 2, but I'll go back to that in a sec. So that's the best you're going to get that save to be. However, you can do this and add a regen with the Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Did I put 4 plus? That's not true. It's 5. It's a 5 up regen. 4 regen on that would be insane. Crown of Everlasting Conquest is 40 points. We're basically sort of building out something that would tank a bit like Archaon. So, right. So what a 5 up ward or a 5 up regen, because it's like it doesn't get modified. What that does, and it's these things aren't warp spawned either. So a 5 up regen, you know, you don't lose. You only lose if you get attacked by flaming. But anyway, what it does is it adds 50% to your wounds. So the 5 at ward essentially means you have to do 15 wounds of damage, and then the 5 at regen means that you have to do on average about 22, 23 wounds to actually take it down. So that's tanky as hell for 40 points. And then like enchanted items, I don't want it to be stupid. That would be a bad idea. We probably want Favour of the Gods, so that means we can take a Favour of the Gods. It allows you to re-roll on a table, so if you unluckily roll stupid turn 1, you can re-roll it and reduce the chance of that happening, because you don't want to be stupid. You don't want to risk that. We've taken a talisman. I mean, we've taken a talisman. Is there like an enchanted item or something that makes you immune to killing blow or monster slayer? I don't think there is there? Magic armor. There's not going to be a full plate armor in here, is there? Do you know what? Do that. That would be amazing, I think. So yeah, it's 600 points. However, and the bedazzling helm. So that's 5 plus regen, and that's -1 to hit in combat. Oh, bloody thing. And +1 to your save. So yeah, so you got a 2 up, 5 up, 5 up. That's -1 to hit in combat. And let's go back to him. And I think what we then need to do is give him a great weapon. Oh, do we want to do that actually? Is a flail? That requires 2 hands, yeah. What else did he have? Flail, halberd requires 2 hands, lance, meh. Take 1. Do we want to take a lance or do we want to take a great weapon? I mean, this thing's main ability is surviving. The thing is, if we take a great weapon, yeah, you get to use... I suppose you don't have to use the great weapon, do you? You could choose the... Yeah, alright, okay. I'm going to take great weapon. And give him a great weapon. Which is another, like, 4 points. So he slaps hard. So he's strength 7, AP 2. Or he can just use his normal hand weapon, and then that's AP 1 magical attacks because of ensorcelled weapons. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to take Favour of the Gods as well, didn't I? No, this is already silly enough. Yeah, I think you can risk stupid, really. So yeah, that's the Chaos Lord. He's tanky as hell, and you plop him on the table. Your opponent's going to be like, "Where's your army?" And you're going to be like, "Well, a third of it, more or less, is here." Oh, I forgot about Gifts of Chaos. Yeah, let's do that as well. +1 attack. That'd be quite nice. -1 to hit and shooting. That's all right. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely enchanted or enchanting aura. There you go. Enemies in combat lose strike first / gain strike last. So they're back to initiative 1 as well. So your great weapon doesn't necessarily matter all that much, because if you got the charge against something that doesn't have strike first, well, you've just given them strike last. I wonder how that would interact with the High Elf Prince, because he's got strike first and strike last that counts. If you get strike last twice, does that mean you actually strike last, and does that override strike first? I mean, that's how I'd play it, but... So that's Warriors of Chaos. He's a pretty beastie boy. Beastmen Breakherds, they don't really have mounts that they can put on monsters, so, I mean, super killy characters, you're looking at, like, I'd think, like, probably... Minotaur champion with some stuff. Centaur, because the Minotaur champion can take 100 points of magic items, whereas I think that's the best. I mean, you can put these on a chariot. Yeah, let's do that then. So you got a Beast Lord. What chariot? Tusk Gore or Razor Gore? I'll have to have a look at it and see which one's which. But let's do his profile to begin with. Let's put that there. So he's going to cost 115. So he's pretty cheap. 5, 6, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 4, 8, and then he's not got any armor. So we're going to have to give him some armor, although we're probably not. So let's have a look at the chariots. Razor Gore are more expensive. They're both heavy. They're both got the same armor save. Tuskor does more damage, obviously. Both have got Primal Fury. Both have got Razor Tusks, which I think gives impact hits. Actually, I'm not sure what Razor Tusks does. What does Razor Tusks do? Where is it? AP of a Tuskgore or Razorgore's tusks is improved by 1. Cool. Bloody hell. Where were we? Chariot. Right, let's get rid of the bookmarks again. Cool. So we got... so this is 4 wounds, 4 wounds. So basically, if you put a character on a chariot, you add the number of wounds, and then you take the best toughness, effectively. So both are going to add 4 wounds. Both are going to give it a 4-up save. There is that item that gives you an extra save that we put on the Chaos Lord, the Bedazzling Helm, but it is 60 points. It does make him -1 to hit in combat, though, which is really helpful. Especially with something with a Lord that's like Weapon Skill 6, because that's quite low for a damage dealy sort of thing. That one's got 1 more impact hits. First charge. That one causes fear. Yeah, I think a Razorgore chariot is better because of the fear dynamic, which means you don't have to roll to charge something that causes fear. Oops. Chariot. So that's 120. So, Bestigore, Gore, Razorgore. And there's one of them. So we'll just fill all this in. So that's 7. That's 554. No, it's not. That one goes to 7 because we add 4 to that, and then we can delete that. Okay, so we just need to know the strength. That's that. And then he now gets a 4-up save. I think there'll be other ways to make him sort of defensive. So 4, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3. Don't care about any of that because we don't need to know toughness. We do need to know initiative. 3, 2, and we need to know attacks. 4, 1, 1. And we don't need to know that or that, but we do need to know the Razorgore's strength, and it's got no BS because it's got no shooty stuff. Well, because it's a beast and it doesn't have opposable thumbs. So that's got loads of cool rules. Right, so what have we got magic weapon wise? What can we do? We've got chaos mutations. Got more mutations than... Okay, so -1 to hit in combat. Okay, that's nice. Stubborn, that's pretty good. Well, that's better in a unit because you can confer a stubborn to a unit. +1 strength, meh. Shooting phase, -1 to hit. AP, extra. Slug skin's nice, -1 to hit. I mean, but you wouldn't do this because you wouldn't want to, like, is there, like, some kind of chargey? Hunter's Spear. There we go. Oh. Oh, wow. What's his ballistic skill? 3. God damn it. But you could give him... It's a chariot, so... Huh. No, I'd want to take like a minor, really super cheap character to give it Hunter's Spear. Not... Oh, this is interesting. Pelt of the Dark Young. Quite like that because there's quite a lot of flaming attacks in the game. So 3-up ward against flaming is a lot better than I think people think. Oh, it's a banner. That's annoying. This one's difficult actually, working out what to take, because I wanted something that was like, yeah, a bit like the Wood Elves. I wanted stuff that just like debuffs your opponent, but there isn't much really. Oh my god, that's awesome. Always read the notes under the weapons. Right, 60 points for that bugger. And what that does is S equals leadership, AP3, hatred of the Empire, poisoned. So it's got 4 attacks, weapon skill 6. However, that just makes its strength equal to 8, which actually that's interesting because like Beastman's supposed to be like the foil of the Wood Elves and vice versa, so Beastmen and Wood Elves are constantly fighting. So this thing, Mercur's Locus, it says no strength modifier, but that's not a strength modifier. It's not an S+, so it doesn't modify it. It changes the strength, so it alters the strength characteristic. So it's not a modifier to the strength characteristic. It says the strength characteristic is. So that's interesting. I think I'd probably leave it there. I'm not sure there's anything for another 40 points that I'd want to take. Unless there's a cool talisman that I've forgotten about. Yeah, talisman of protection. Do that. I think you're going to see a lot of talisman of protection, to be honest, because it's like pretty useful and pretty ubiquitous, you know. Just get a 5-up ward, especially if you've got a character that you know you want to keep alive for a bit. So then that's the wrong one. Who have we got next? We've got Tomb Kings. They're the last one. Tomb Kings are a bit weird. So in that you've got like Tomb King Prince, maybe mounted on a Bone Dragon or a War Sphinx. And the High Priest may be mounted on a Bone Dragon. So I think we need to look at... Now, your choice here with Khemri is if you've got a High Priest or, you know, you're going to get a High Priest, you might want to put it on the Bone Dragon to keep your High Priest alive. Because if your High Priest dies, then the whole list starts to crumble. You could always keep your High Priest alive by just hiding him at the back in between all your skeleton warriors. So it depends what your list looks like. If you've got like a really heavy cavalry list with lots of quick stuff and chariots and so on and so forth, you might want to put it on the Bone Dragon to keep up with the chariots. However, if you've got like an infantry heavy list, you'll probably want to put it on foot and then mount your Tomb King. Because then you've got something that's a bit more manoeuvrable that can do a lot of damage. So the Necrolith Bone Dragon is +1 toughness, +5 wounds, and also gets fly 9. Okay. The War Sphinx is because of the Howdah rule, it becomes a chariot when you put something on it. So that means that it's immune to Killing Blow and Monster Slayer. May be included as a mount. So it essentially adds 5 wounds, and so I think, to me, the War Sphinx seems like a better monstrous mount for a Tomb King than. Oh, where's it go? Yeah, for a tomb for a Tomb King than the Bone Dragon. Because again, it makes him immune to Killing Blow and Monster Slayer, because it becomes a chariot. Well, that's how I understand the rules. I mean, that might have been FAQ'd already, but that's what I'm going with. Because so under the Howder special rule, I think, I mean, I suppose it depends what the wording is exactly, but I think it says, to represent its Howder and crew, Behemoth with this special rule has a split profile and follows both a split profile chariots. In all other respects, this model is a Behemoth. No, actually, that might be wrong. Sorry, no, that is wrong, isn't it? So it gets the split profile rule and the firing platform rules, but it stays as a monster. So it's still subject to Monster Slayer. I think I've said that elsewhere. That was a mistake. Apologies. However, it still gets like an 18-inch command range. If it can't be a general, because it's not eligible to be a Hierophant, is it, in a Tomb King list? Tomb Kings are a bit weird in that the general isn't the thing with the highest leadership. It's where's the rules around their general? Their general, they've got to pick a Hierophant basically. There's a whole page on it somewhere. Where is it? Can't find it. Oh, can I just not spell Hierophant? Is that the problem? Yeah. No, I can't. Highest ranking leash priest. So he's got to have one leash priest. Doesn't mean that actually. So your Hierophant is separate. So you do still have a general. So actually, does he still have? He won't still have rallying cry though, will he? Because they don't break, so he doesn't need it. But he still can confer his leadership to units within it. That's really good, actually. So anyway, he's 160. That's quite pricey. I mean, I know he's got loads of cool rules, but 55444. I mean, I suppose his profile's okay. So let's mount him on a it's going to be in the monster section, isn't it? Monster. A War Sphinx. War Sphinx. Guard. Tomb Guard. Tomb Guard. And there's 2 of them. So that's going to cost 175, which is going to keep him quite cheap actually. Move 6, weapon skill 4, no ballistic skill 5. Makes the model toughness 6 now. Makes him have 9 wounds. The War Sphinx is initiative 4 with 4 attacks, no leadership. And then the Tomb Guard crew 3, 3, 4, but 3, 1, 8. Not really that you need the leadership for them, but whatever. It has an armor value of 5 anyway, so actually his armor's probably better. Oh, and it's got regen 6, hasn't it? All just inbuilt. So it's got some cool attacks. It does some stomps and stuff. Anyway, what can you give him? What can we equip this guy with? Just magic items. So let's have a look at those. Destroyer of Eternities. It's just a great weapon with magical attacks. It's got Killing Blow. and can make a special scything attacks, doing just D6 automatic hits against just an enemy unit. It doesn't have to be like infantry or whatever. It's just, you know, just does D6 automatic hits. I mean, is that really worth 75 points? 'Cause he's got 4 attacks, weapon skill 6. He's probably going to do like 2 or 3 hits anyway. Don't know about that. I mean, that's pretty good for if you wanted like a combat leash priest. That'd be quite cool if you had like a dragon with like a leech priest as like your hierophants, and then you gave it Destroyer of Eternities rather than like arcane items. That'd be interesting to see whether that was any good or not. Flail of Skulls, +3 strength, AP 1, multiple wounds 2. And gets the strength the first round of combat. Serpent Staff, that's for Lich Priests only. Shield of Tra. -1 to weapon skill, it's not very good. Monarch can resurrect the fallen. Yeah, I'd probably take that actually. It's not making him very killy, but the ability to resurrect stuff in a list that's, you know, actually quite hard to can resurrect the fallen, which is normally something that's reserved for Lich Priests. Enchanted items. It's already got terror, so it doesn't need that. I don't really like any of this. This doesn't really... None of this kind of sticks out as being particularly good. I mean, I hate to do it, but... Talisman of Protection. Talisman of Protection. Because it's like 30 points, and it's a 5 at ward. So that makes him, you know, way more survivable. Which, you know, is kind of what you want. Magic armor. I mean, like this one, Shield of the Warrior True. Who'd take that? Unless you wanted another talisman, I suppose. But that's like a 5 at ward against shooting. But like, talisman is just a 5 at ward. So like, it's way better and it's the same points. I mean, Enchanted Shield is alright. You know, it's a cheap thing. But I mean, why would you, 6 at ward is, you know, not really very effective. Unless you've got like 6 wounds. Armor of Destiny's pretty good though, isn't it? Actually, yeah. Sod that. Let's do the Armor of Destiny because that's better. Because that adds 100% to your wounds, so it's effectively like killing 18 wounds rather than 15, and you know, 4 ++ ward. Cool. Yeah, so let's do that. That's making him super tanky, isn't it? And it's, you know, 70 points. You save those points by not taking the Bone Dragon anyway, so because I think the Bone Dragon was a bit more expensive. Where's monsters? There we go, monster. So Bone Dragon's what? Oh no, what 195? So it's only 20 points more expensive. +5 wounds, +5 wounds, +1 toughness. So it's got the same defensive buff, except this now it can fly 9. However, that's got the dry as dust rule, which makes it. It's got cloud of dust and dry as dust. Cloud of dust and cloud. Oh, that must be in its dry as dust is. Oh my god. flammable might do extra damage. You don't want that. There's a lot of stuff that's got flammable attacks in the game, so I think that's quite dangerous. Cambrian War Sphinx. Yeah. And this has got like, you can take a fiery roar, so you can give it a breath weapon if you want. I mean, yeah, whatever. I suppose it's probably actually going to get to use it because it's on foot and it moves, so you're not always going to be in charge range. So that's, you know, you can add up to. Does it have any tomb crew? You can add up to. Okay, so you got to pay extra for those. So they're 20 points for those, which you're probably going to do because they've got like, you know, hand weapons and spears and short bows and stuff. So, you know, they're useful to have, I think. Plus they've got arrows of Asaph, so they're always going to be hitting on 4s no matter what. So, you know, you plink off an extra couple of wounds here there. Fiery roar's probably worth it as well. Fiery roar. Yeah, I'll do fiery roar. I think that's probably worth it. For AP1 flame breath. Envenom sting. May choose poison attack strike first. Don't care about that. One attack striking first is just annoying from like an accounting perspective. It's something else to remember. That's, you know, no real additional effect. Okay. Yeah, what's this got? This has got what was the other thing? Oh yeah, what was Cloud of Dust? That was something else, wasn't it? Cloud of Dust. -1 to hit and shooting. Okay, that's quite useful. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's it's a difficult question, really, isn't it? Which one to take? So the cool thing that the Tomb King does that helps this actually is character blah blah blah. Take a leadership test until your next start of turn. Subphases character, their mount, blah, blah, blah. So you can give it plus D3 movement, +1 weapon skill. Plus D3 movement is great on this because you can give it, you know, you can get it up to like movement 9. I'm not sure actually whether it had. I still think I really like the War Sphinx model. I like it a lot more than the Bone Dragon. Team Guard crew have got Kopesh, which is just makes the hand weapons a bit better. Yeah, no, I quite like that. I think that's all right. 475 points. The thing is, it's just gonna. Can we take a shield? Hopefully, we can take a shield. Oh, for God's sakes! This PDF's so big, like it's easier. Can we take a shield? We can take a shield. He's already got heavy armor. Pardon me. Let's do a shield for 2 points. 2 whole points. Like, no brainer. I haven't actually given him a cool weapon, have I? Ugh. Cav spear. Let's do that. That's another 2 points, isn't it? So he's +1 attack, AP1 on the charge. I mean, like, whatever. But, you know, so the shield will give him an extra +1. And he can take a cav spear and a shield. So he's got a 4-up save with the 4-up ward and a 6-up regen. That's pretty survivable. Not as survivable as the Chaos Lord, but then also, you know, about 150 points cheaper than the Chaos Lord. So yeah, so that's my kind of run through how to build some mega characters. Mega-ish. I mean, there's nothing really that you can do in the old world that's particularly broken. I think next time round we'll have a look at this is not of the arcane the non-supported factions. These are sort of the worst things that you're going to be. So the point of doing this really is to look at tournament play and look at, what's the worst thing you're going to face at like an official GW tournament? I realise that quite a lot of other tournaments are probably going to allow the other factions to be played. From looking at them, they're not as well balanced, so that could cause some problems. But what I'm looking at is essentially trying to devise what's the worst thing you're going to face, because if you know what the worst monster you're going to face is at a tournament, you can try to create a strategy within your army list to deal with it. And even if you're just having a sort of a fun play session, there's always that bloke at your local gaming club that's a bit of a power gamer, thinks they're pretty good, and then comes up with something nuts like this for like a friendly game. And then you're like, I don't really have any tools to deal with that. So it's always a good idea when you're making any list whatsoever to have a look at stupidly ridiculous things like this and think about how to deal with it. So like, what's the worst thing on the list? The worst thing on the list is probably the Chaos Lord on a dragon. On a wyvern. I mean, I prefer a Chaos Lord on a Manticore, actually, because it's a bit cheaper, causes terror. It's got the same sort of flexibility you can give him. In fact, my Chaos Lord on Manticore doesn't have the bedazzling helm, actually, but has the same sort of defensive stats. I've given it the Enchanting Aura and Crown of Everlasting Conquest, just to keep it alive a bit longer. Manticore bumps its wounds up to 89 wounds, and it's like 200 points, 100 and something points cheaper. I mean, my Chaos Lord, I think, costs about 450 points, the one I'm looking at the moment, so that's almost pays for a Sorcerer Lord, doesn't it? This is like the worst you're going to face, I think, in terms of survivability. Like 2-up save, -1 to hit in combat, 5 at regen, 5 at ward, -1 to hit against weapon skill 7. That's really nasty. You could give it a Mark of Nurgle as well, which means that you'd be re-rolling 6s to hit. Yeah. In fact, you probably want to give this a Mark of Nurgle as well, wouldn't you? So, you're re-rolling. So you're probably going to be hitting it on 5s or 6s. In fact, yeah, let's do that. That is... Oh, this is horrible now. Of Nurgle. So 20 points. Roll 6s to hit in combat. Opponent. So your opponent, so you -1 to hit in combat, you're going to be hitting it on 5s or 6s. They then got to re-roll the 6s to hit. You're then toughness 6 if you manage to, like, so basically 5s to hit work and 6s probably don't. Or at least 2/3 of your 6s don't. So if you, it's just insane. So you're barely going to hit it, you're barely going to wound it. Then it's got a ridiculously defensive, like, good luck getting through all that. Really, the only thing that's going to do it is like some kind of Bretonnian character that's got like a ton of attacks and Monster Slayer. Which you can do, actually. You can build that. I'll just show you quickly. Because it's... Bretonnia have like... where are they? They have like knightly virtues that knights can take. So one of them is Killing Blow and Monster Slayer, unless using a magic weapon. So unless... But anyway, so 60 points for the Virtue of Heroism. So, 4 attacks, Killing Blow, Monster Slayer. So he's going to be hitting on... So one might hit, one might go through with Monster Slayer. I mean, it's an outside chance, but, it's doable. There's other little annoying things that... like, for instance, Tomb Kings have. Tomb Scorpions? Oh, no, they've got Killing Blow, haven't they, I think? Oh, no. Yeah, they've got Killing... Oh, and they've got Killing Blow and Monster Slayer. So Tomb Scorpions are pretty scary. because, you know, again, you've got 4 attacks, one might go through, you might get a 6. It's not massively likely, but, you know, whatever. But that's really the only way you're going to kill that. Yeah, so, I mean, if I came up against that, what would be my advice? Just work around it. You know, it's going to... The only way you're really going to beat it is by combat resolution. You know, so you're going to have to get it in the front. And now it is 650 points, so you're likely to be able to get it in the front, get it in the flank with like 2 or 3 units that have close order. So if you have 3 units of close order, you're already up 2. You've probably got a rank bonus of +2. You've probably got like 2 flanks and then a banner. And then if you've got a battle standard bearer, if you can get a war banner in there as well, +9, it's got to do 9 damage, which... It's not. Its offensive output is okay, but not really enough to do that. So you could beat it in combat, and then of course beat it. You know, when you follow up. So you can get it to push back. You can push it back. But, you know, that great weapon means that the whole thing's... That is really not... I'm so tempted to take that now. Although, like the tournament that they're doing at Warhammer World, it's like 1,500 points, isn't it? So that would like be almost half my army. But still, it's really nasty. The next one in terms of... Probably in terms of survivability would be the high elf. Now, that's the other thing. Like, if you come up against that, but you're high elves and you've got that, you're probably good. Like, chuck your high elf into, and you know, they're just gonna, like, you know, mash off against each other. Plus you've got Monster Slayer, so you could always get lucky with one of those attacks and just kill the whole thing. So that's kind of like the count. But, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, AP3 is quite nasty, but then again, you've got to actually hit, and you -1 to hit in combat, so 5s. Yeah. There are, like, spells, though, that reduce weapon skill. So you could debuff the Chaos Lord a bit and try and look to debuff it. Or alternatively, boost up your stuff with some aggressive bits and bobs. But you definitely need some way to counter that +1 to -1 to hit. That's I think -1 to hit is very nasty. It is 60 points though, so you're paying a lot for it. But that in combination with what it's on, and this is the problem with like pointing magic items just in general. I mean, it's better than not pointing them like they are in AOS where you just take them, but pointing them. You know, 60 points for a Lord that's on foot, -1 to hit is like, okay, well, yeah, whatever. But for a Lord that's on this kind of platform, it's just insane. It's insanely powerful. So, and Warhammer's, to an extent, always been a bit like that. But, yeah. Cool. So that's the video. I've gone on for an hour. I didn't expect to go on for an hour and 10, but I hope that gives you sort of my... process when trying to build characters with loads of cool stuff. I hope these are getting towards that's the biggest problem you're going to face. There's loads of horrible combos there. I mean, I thought the High Elf Prince was bad, but actually that's pretty nasty. Mainly because I've given it the white sword rather than being... So you could have given that the bedazzling helm as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. You know, like the video if you've enjoyed watching, and you know, if this has earned your subscription, please feel free to press subscribe. Catch you again soon.